Good morning and thank you for joining us at I-24 News. I'm Benjamin Tjong. The Syrian peace talks remain in limbo, with a shaky ceasefire barely holding and violence continuing to escalate. As the government and the opposition group remain far apart in their vision of political transition, the UN envoy to Syria, Staffan de Mistura, says the outlook is bleak. Sam Israel has more.
An apprehensive Staffan de Mistura held a conference in Geneva yesterday, warning that any progress made to end the war in Syria may be deteriorating. Calling the ceasefire barely alive, the UN envoy urged for Russia and the United States in salvaging the process.
In the last 48 hours, we have had an average of 1 Syrian killed every 25 minutes, 1 Syrian wounded every 13 minutes.
Despite Syria being under what would be called a ceasefire, violence has escalated. Clashes between government forces and rebel groups killed at least 20 people Wednesday, as the Syrian regime executed an airstrike on a hospital and nearby residential building in the city of Aleppo. According to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, this adds to the 30 people killed on Monday and Tuesday, and another 60 killed over the weekend. As for the talks, the third round started on April 13th, but ended when opposition leaders walked out, claiming that the current government was responsible for the increase in bombings and restraint in humanitarian aid. Russian officials were not pleased hearing the news.
The actions by the High Negotiation Committee cause worry and concern. This is one of Syria's opposition groups, which is represented at the talks with the Syrian government under UN guidance. As you know, it has suspended its participation in the talks process, with one of the reasons being, as it became obvious, total lack of constructive proposals on their side.
The next round of talks have not been given a date. De Mistura said the Syrian government and the opposition group remain far apart in their vision of a political transition, despite some common ground. The main point of disagreement is the future of President Assad in this transitional political process.